The Circleville Letters case is a knot, and the tighter you pull, the more impossible it becomes to untangle. There's over 1,000 letters mailed, the town terrorized for nearly 20 years, 2 decades. One death remains mysterious. One attempted murder leaves unanswered questions. One man is imprisoned, possibly wrongfully. Circleville, Ohio is forever scarred by the fear, paranoia, and uncertainty that the letters created. And maybe the most haunting part, the writer may never be known. The town may never find closure, and for nearly 2 decades, people lived in terror because someone knew exactly how to watch, manipulate, and control them. Even decades later, the Circleville letters continue to baffle all those who hear about it. Who really wrote these letters? Why did the letters stop? Some suggest the writer died or moved or finally got bored. Others say the fear tactics succeeded. The town and Paul were controlled long enough. What about Ron's death? Accident, murder, or something more sinister? No one has ever definitively solved this part. The missing bullet, the fired gun, and conflicting reports leave the questions open. Again, it is worth noting that, like I mentioned earlier, his blood alcohol level was twice the legal limit. However, family doesn't understand why he would be driving drunk. That's such a tough situation. How would his blood alcohol level get that high? Unless he was, I don't know. If you have a theory, let me know. I can't explain that. That is one part about Ron's death that does leave me very suspicious that it was an accident. I believe he did get that phone call and that he did think he knew who the writer was and he did go to confront them. But I think he had been drinking or he had started to drink and then got into the accident. The gun is a weird part of it. When did he shoot that? I don't know. It's all so confusing to me, but that is worth noting, is that he was driving drunk. And quite intoxicated at that. Was Paul Freshour framed? He always claimed his innocence, as stated. The letters while he was in prison support this claim, but the public perception at the time and his conviction make it complicated. Was the Circleville writer close to Mary? Some letters contained details only by observing someone closely. Some forensic linguistics even suggest early letters could have been written by a woman. As I stated earlier, I believe that Karen Sue was a very viable option for this. Because again, she has that motive, she has the proximity, she has the closeness to the family and proximity to, like, in location as well. The case is just full of contradictions all around, and every answer seems to lead to even more questions. And maybe that's the point. Whoever wrote these letters displayed obsession. They watched, they waited, and they planned for years. Manipulation, they sowed chaos, fear, and mistrust through an entire town. Knowledge, the letters often included details that weren't public. Persistence, over 1,000 letters mailed in nearly 20 years. Escalation, threats became personal, then deadly, like the booby trap sign, possibly Ron too. Whether a man, a woman, a single person, or multiple, this is someone who craved control, attention, or vengeance, or a combination of all three. And in a small town like Circleville, that kind of psychological power is amplified. The letters didn't just terrorize individuals, they impacted an entire community. People distrusted their neighbors, families argued over suspicions, local officials were targeted publicly, like the sheriff. I did mention this earlier. The sheriff was said to have been involved in some way, shape, or form. News coverage spread fear outside of the town, and even today, the story remains a cautionary tale about the power of anonymous harassment. Mary Gillespie lived through decades of fear. Paul Freshour lost 10 years of his life, and Ron Gillespie died under mysterious circumstances that no one really knows what happened to this day. And the town, Circleville, became known nationally as a place where paranoia and secrets festered in the shadows. The Circleville Letters case captured the imagination of true crime enthusiasts. Again, we got television, bringing in unsolved mysteries episodes in the late 1980s, covering national attention, newspapers, Local and national coverage kept the story alive, and of course, online communities. Today, forums, YouTube channels debate the identity of the writer endlessly. The case represents one of the earliest examples of small-town harassment escalating into something almost cinematic. Mystery, psychological warfare, and unsolved crime all in one. To recap all of the major theories, we got Paul Freshour, again convicted for the booby trap, possibly orchestrated these letters, evidence circumstantial. Karen Sue, ex-wife with access, motive, proximity, possibly framed Paul, continued letters. Can you tell? I think it's Karen Sue. Multiple letters evolved over time, suggesting copycats or accomplices. Maybe this is just my lack of knowledge in handwriting analysis personally, but I think that it just changed over time, or it was purposely altered. I think this was one person the entire time. I think it was Karen Sue. Or Town Insider. Town Insider, someone close to Mary or other people in the town, knowledgeable and obsessed. A mentally disturbed outsider, someone targeting the town for control and chaos. That one seems more unlikely to me because why Circleville, out of all places? All theories have holes. None are fully proven, of course. This is an unsolved case, and the more you examine, the stranger it gets. So who was the Circleville writer? We don't know. We do not know. Again, could be an ex-spouse, a jealous family member, a disturbed neighbor, or multiple people over multiple decades. What we do know is fear can be weaponized. Anonymous harassment can destroy lives. Small towns are vulnerable when secrets are exposed, and sometimes justice is messy, incomplete, or simply impossible.